Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of In Conversation With. I'm your host, Gavin Kelly, still here with my microphone that has no stand on it. I'm working on that, don't worry. With my co-host, Colm McDonald, who looks supremely cooler with his AirPods. How we doing, Colm?
Yeah, AirPods are the only way to go. I mean, you don't know that?
No, not for me, not for me.
That's the new drip.
Yeah,
Today we are
exactly.
joined by a producer and artist. He's the producer behind the work of JYellowL and many other up-and-coming artists in the Irish music scene. And he has some of his own work as well. His name is Chris Kabs. How you doing, Chris?
How you doing, man? So,
Th- Thanks for joining us, Chris. You're our first overseas guest. You're coming to us all the way from Sweden. Are you in Stockholm or are you in another part?
yeah, I'm staying in Stockholm. I actually came here to shoot a music video of my track Jealousy. That's why I'm here. Actually, I want to stay here in this lovely Airbnb for 5 days. Yeah, I flew here to work, man. Working.
Yeah, very
Cool.
good, very good.
What's Sweden like at the moment? Because I know they've had a very different lockdown
Yeah,
than
so
everyone else.
they actually had no lockdown whatsoever. They didn't have it. They were living as if nothing happened. La 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 la. We good. You know what I mean? So when I came here, like the airport was packed as if nothing happened. You know, and so they just living like no coronavirus for them. They just whatever.
Brilliant.
So
Cool.
So you actually grew up in Stockholm. Am I correct?
grew up in Stockholm indeed, yeah. But I kind of halfway grew up in Stockholm and Dublin because I moved to Ireland. I was 15.
Mm.
So like I'm like half, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like my
but
childhood, huh?
you kind of grew up all over the place. You have your kind of roots set in a few different countries as well, don't you?
No, only Sweden and Ireland really. Reason why I came to Ireland because I had a basketball college shape. I was playing basketball for UCD college when I first
Oh,
moved here.
brilliant.
Cool.
That's why I moved here. That's how I ended up moving to Ireland because I had a basketball project, contract to play with the UCD at that time.
Pass.
Yeah, that's how I end up here.
Nice. Chris, I was reading on an article there that you're proficient in 4 languages. Is that true?
Let me think. Actually, yeah, that might be true. Man,
Yeah.
that's a good homework, man.
And French is one of them. So where'd you pick up the French? Was it from school or?
No, my French is my native language, so I speak French fluently. Because
Right.
originally I was born in Congo, and in Congo we speak French as first. No, it's like our second language, but the main language too at the same time. Because I also have my African language too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but French is like the main official language. It's like Ireland, you got English and
Yeah,
Irish.
Yeah.
yeah.
But obviously we do claim French more than the actual um, African language, which is Lingala. So I have
Brilliant.
Lingala, French, Swedish, and English. Yeah, 4. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Cool. That's
Jesus,
about.
I can barely keep one language in my own head at any one time. So to have 4 going at the same time is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. It takes practice and it takes communication pretty much. And eventually, you get good at that.
Brilliant. So obviously Gavin mentioned at the top you're a musical artist, music producer, and I'm led to believe that the love for music was instilled in you from a very, very young age.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I started making music at very young age. We're talking like I would say the moment I was born. I just knew that was my thing, and my whole family is a musical family. So we all my dad met my mom at the choir, so that's how they ended up together. And obviously that whole energy and gift ran on me as a child, and I grew up with it. So long story short, my daddy, he used to be a music event promoter. So he basically bought all type of instrument, which allowed me to to sneak in every now and then to the cave that we had and try different instrument. And eventually, the first instrument that caught my attention was congas. And from congas, I moved to drum to piano, and years later now I started producing music fluently, naturally.
Brilliant. And what were some of the earliest influences, or what were you listening to at that age?
At that age, it because we were playing a lot of gospel music, a lot of gospel African music at that time. And also somehow I always found a way to listen to Western sound too. So like I was really into Michael Jackson, you know what I mean, at that time because he was the man on top, Michael Jackson and a lot of Wyclef Jean, who else at that time I used to listen to? A lot of old school hip hop. We're talking like that's the boom bap that we had back then, and that's how I got into making sound because I knew that if I if my daddy gave me, like if I could get something to create music, and so that has to be a keyboard. Then my daddy eventually bought me like a little Casio synthesizer, and that's how I picked up my skill. I mean to make sound, and eventually I ended up start making anything pretty much from there.
Cool. So Chris, you were in UCD doing the scholarship. Were you making music then?
Yeah.
Cool. And after college, what did you do then? Did you go straight into music or?
I mean, like I wasn't studying in UCD. I was only playing for the
right.
Yeah, because my goal wasn't really to stay in Ireland after 2 years, because the aim that we had, the goals that we had, me and my parents, was play for Ireland for good 2 years, and after they moved to Texas, I mean, to pursue my NBA career. Again, but then like on the side, I was always making music, creating music, recording music, and eventually after 2 years, I was 19 at that time. I was very, very, very like my peak and very strong, and everything was on point. But I just felt like, okay, this is great, but it's not for me. I want to chase music. Like no injuries, no nothing. I just decided to stop playing. Simple as that. Because music was taking too much of my time and my energy and my mind, to a point where I just knew that, okay, this is what I want to do.
If I can indulge myself a little bit, I'm a massive NBA fan. So hearing the fact that you were a basketball player kind of piqued my interest. So I'm going to talk about this now before we move on. So favorite team? Let's go. Let's go. Favorite team?
Lakers.
Lakers. Are you a Lakers guy or are you a LeBron guy?
Good question. So the thing is, I'll go wherever LeBron James go.
Yeah. Okay. I'm the exact same, because I'm a Giannis guy. So if Giannis were to leave the Bucks, I would follow him wherever he was going.
When LeBron was playing for the Cavaliers, I was Cavaliers team at that time.
Yeah.
But I've always been a Kobe fan too. Do you know what I mean? But when LeBron signed with Lakers, I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm a Laker fan. I love the fashion that they have. I love the color of the jersey. I love the way they're playing. Very effortless, win. They have like every game. They just play well together, and that's it. Because if you mention Giannis, it's like without Giannis, there is no Bucks, basically.
Yeah.
But with Lakers, like LeBron could be sitting for a few games, but they're still gonna win because they have a team working, a structure that works for the whole Lakers. They just won. Because Bucks, they make plays around Giannis, but LeBron James, he makes everybody involved. So that's what makes them, more stronger. Yeah.
Brilliant. And when you were playing yourself, what position were you?
Small forward.
And did you model your game off of anybody in particular?
Yeah, at that time I was more into Kobe, because Kobe,
yeah.
We're talking like 8 years ago. He was Kobe.
Yeah.
So LeBron was there, but Kobe was still the GOAT. So I was more into Kobe style, and I was really a big Kobe fan. Like I became LeBron James fan when Kobe got a bit older, and then I saw LeBron James start to rising up, and I was like, oh yeah, who is this guy? And then I got into LeBron James.
Yeah, man. I said it's a little bit of a sadder note, but Gavin was actually the person to inform me of Kobe's death when it happened back at the end of January. I was on the bus back up to Dublin for college, and I get this text off of Gavin saying, "Did you see what happened?" And like when you get a text like that, you're like, what do you mean? What the fuck? Like, I mean, what do you mean? What happened?
Yeah.
And then he sent me the link to the TMZ article. And I think the first thing I said to you was "fuck off, Gavin." Or I told you to fuck off with
it
the
didn't seem
TMZ
real.
article.
It's one of those things where just.
I remember I was on the phone with JYellowL actually, just talking, talking, having a laugh, and then Jay goes to me, "Yo, Chris, Kobe's dead." I'm like, "Yo,
yeah,
don't
it's a joke." Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no, Kobe Bryant, the GOAT, the Black Mamba is dead. I'm like, how is he dead? So long story short. Then the links start popping, and then I call my friend who lives in LA. Actually, I'm like, "Yo, bro, what's going on, man? Yo, man, fuck, bro. No, man." I'm like, "Is that true? Kobe's dead, man." I'm like, "Kobe's dead," and then I Google it everywhere. I'm like, "Yo, just yesterday, he tweeted LeBron James. You know when LeBron James what's it called?
He beat the record, the night before. I was watching the game, yeah.
And then the next day, man, it's gone. So that I got tears because, like, I'm like, he was like the reason why I was playing basketball. Do you know what I mean? So when he died, a very sudden death, helicopter crash. I mean, there was no explanation. This is it. It's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I didn't believe it. When Gav sent me the TMZ article. Obviously, I saw TMZ. I was like, you know what? They've done shit like this before. I'm not going to believe it until I see a credible source. And then I think it was when I saw the tweet from Adrian Wojnarowski or Woj. Like, I mean, when he tweets something, if you're in the basketball community, you know this. If Woj tweets something, it's more than likely true. And when he tweeted it, I was like, fuck. And then I got back home and I was reading the tweets, and yeah, I like the tears started to come for me. And then reading that his daughter was on the helicopter as well just sent me. Oh, I was inconsolable for a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, also like after when he was dead, a lot of conspiracies was playing through around the whole thing. Apparently, it was planned, but yada yada yada. But hey, what do we know? But man, he's gone. But definitely, his legacy will live forever because
for sure,
absolutely.
He finessed the NBA game. Like he did something that many people didn't do. Obviously, the MJ era, it was MJ, and Kobe did his thing as well. So that's why, I mean, if it wasn't for Kobe, we wouldn't know LeBron. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So basically, Kobe passed the torch to LeBron, and so for him to die like that without even like have a proper legacy protocol, like the way we throw flowers to Michael Jordan. Do you know what I mean? It is hurtful, And I mean, to not see the fruit of your hard work, and you're gone at 42. I mean, you're still young. 42, you're still young. I mean, you know what I mean? But sad.
Yeah, it was awful.
I think now at the end of the season coming up soon, the feel-good story would be to see the Lakers win.
Better win. They better win. But they are the first leading score now team in West Conference.
Yeah. It's them and the Clippers, isn't it?
Yeah. So they are up there. They're up there. And few team, according to the, Stephen A. Smith, the talker.
Of course,
Stephen. Yeah.
I think they will eliminate few teams just to speed up the process. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the NBA back. It's going to be weird. It's obviously just going to be a diluted playoffs. I mean, there's not going to be they're like experimenting with probably using 2K like crowd noise to fill the stadium and all this kind of. It's going to be weird, but I'll just be happy. It's the same with football as well. I'm just going to be happy that it's back and it'll be something to watch. And
apparently, it's going to be no crowd still.
Yeah, there won't be any mass crowds anyways. There might be, I don't know how they're going to do it. They're obviously going to have like coaching staff and stuff. They might allow like families in, like if they were separated, like on the seats. But it's going to be a big mess. But I'm just going to be happy that the NBA is back, and hopefully Giannis gets that. Hopefully Giannis gets that title.
It's going to be a huge Zoom conference game, I guess. Bunch of watching from Zoom from home. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great anyway.
Right. Anyways, back to the music. And one thing I want to talk to you about was how many people you've worked with. It seems like you've worked with nearly everybody in this Irish music industry. You've gotten around.
Yeah, I know I love chanting Jay, because Jay, he was the guy who came in. He really seized the opportunity and took off. But besides Jay, the list goes on and on. We're talking,
Yeah.
Tolu McKay, Aaron J. Hart, Tebi Rex, Jafaris, Tommy K. Man, it's a long list. God knows. Dami Harry. We're talking like most of Irish. Most of the artists that you know from Ireland that makes music came to my studio.
Yeah.
We're talking not just recording them, but we're talking like producing their music actually. Because not just an engineer that have a studio at home. I'm actually producing from scratch and making a track to radio. So that's what I do. That's why you see I choose my artists. I choose artists that I want to really give my time, because when I produce a song for you, it is personal. Like, I use my intellectual property to give you the best of me. So, which means I need to make sure that you're gonna make sure that this shit pop. So I pick artists that I think that you know what, they would go with it. They're gonna fly with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you were a producer on Jay's track Ozone, which obviously has kind of boosted his profile even more than it already had when it was on the FIFA soundtrack. You've worked, like, we talked to Jay about that. We've talked to Tebi Rex about you as well. They've done nothing but sing your praises. You're a very well respected figure in the Irish music industry.
Thank you so much. These are guys that I praise back, because, like I said, it takes two. It takes two to tango. So like I said, when Tebi Rex came to me to work on the EP, it was a simple conversation that, yo guys, I want to work with you because we want to achieve this sound, and we spent less than 3 months, and then we got 7 tracks done on the EP. And they came to me since he was 15, I think, and he's the only guy that he stayed. He said, yo, look, I want to build something with you, not just whatever. And now we're here. Now we're working. The album is done already.
Yeah.
3 EPs on his belt, my belt. We got a lot of songs get featured on playlists on NTV, and so things happening, and we both have the same publishing contract, and we taking this thing very seriously, because I feel like, it's not, not to mention the money, but if you love something and if you put some respect on it, you will go, it will bear fruits, and that's what I've done. I took my career seriously. I just stopped fucking around. I just stopped messing. If you're not serious, don't waste my time. And if you're serious, I will give you 100%. So that's what I do.
Brilliant.
Chris, what does
Sorry, guys. I'll let you get the next one in, but I just want to say, because you've worked with so many people, is there anybody that you haven't worked with that you'd really like to, or have an eye towards working with in the future?
Yes, I would love. That's a good question, actually. I would love to work with, which is possible. It's nice. It's just like one phone call away. I would love to produce Kojak. I think
absolutely.
Because I've known him before. I think I bumped him once. I love Kojak, his sense of humor, and I would love to just throw a beat, just, around his thing and see what we can do. I would love to produce. Wait, are we talking about Irish scene? Yeah.
Well, I was referring to the Irish scene there, but bring it further abroad. I'd love to hear.
Let's keep it island. I don't know.
Okay.
Kojak, someone that I would love to produce. I would love to put. Yeah, I would say Kojak's Nick Cap. We met in Gory a few months ago, and we spoke about the whole working together. So that will happen definitely. But Kojak is someone that I would love to try, to throw a beats there and see what he can do with it. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Chris, going back to Ireland, what do you love about Ireland and just the music scene that's starting to really rise up here? We're having JYellowL and all the hip hop. We're also having, in terms of dance music, there's really a freshness in Irish music happening. So what about the scene do you love?
Currently, what I like is the hunger. You know, I see the artists now are more hungry and they are taking their career more seriously. And obviously, it's flattering for me, you know, to see that because when I started making music, we're talking when I came into Ireland, you know, it was no podcast like you, it was nothing at all, and I had to knock doors and actually, you know, manually introduce myself to people. Hey, I make music, I make beats, whatever. So it took me a while, and fast forward now to see that, you know, that most of the major events you see artists that I work with, you know, on stage because now they now realize that if we don't take our career seriously, nobody else will. So let's start investing in quality and everything. And eventually, now we see many artists from Dublin start dropping albums, top quality. You know, now we have at least 10 Irish playlists, which were created by ourselves. You
Mm.
know, and now things are moving, and that's what I like about it. So it's a slow process, but at least there is that hope that in near future, one day, you know, that we're gonna be one of the guys. That's why I'm still here because I feel like there is something here for me too. You know, so like, I'm not gonna be naive and leave the scene because I'm growing fast enough. Let me go to UK and try. Like I want to be mentioned. Like I want to be a part of the growth as well. So
Mm.
yeah. So like I really,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's the perfect time. We're starting to see the curve rise in terms of, artists getting big names. Before we've had like pop artists and stuff like that, be popular over here. But now with hip hop, we're really starting to see names, as we mentioned, make a name for themselves.
Mhm.
Now, Chris, we've talked about, the artists you've worked with, but just in terms of your own music and when you're writing songs and when you're producing, what do you really strive for? How does the songwriting process work for you?
I like to work. See, the way my business is set up, you know, I've found a way to make it, stress free. Meaning that I release music when I want to. You know, I don't have nobody tells me, okay, now you have to make music because you're getting paid for this amount of money, whatever. So if I'm not inspired, I'm not gonna force it. Simple as that. You know, but when I am inspired, I make sure that I give everything I have. Like I mean, all my music from "We Can Work It Out" to "See You Here" to "Jealousy" to whatever I've done, it's all authentic, you know. And of course, big shout out to JYellowL, who's actually my co lyricist. I mean, my co songwriter. So,
Mm.
because I've got some songs where I feel like okay, I've put too much energy on the production. I just need someone else to come in and write the lyrics based on my contents. So what I do is I always reach out to my brother JYellowL to write some songs for me, which he does, flawlessly. So for me, my process is very simple. If I'm not inspired, I'm not gonna force it. But if I am, I will give 110% and get it done as it was received. So yeah.
Brilliant. And you have a new song just out now that you sent along to me with a lovely link. No justice, no peace. Obviously, the inspiration behind that needs no kind of introduction. But do you want to just tell us about the song itself?
Yeah, the song itself, basically, it was this, funny enough, I was among the leader, who was leading the chant that day at the protest at the 1st of June, at the Black Lives Matter protest. And when I was doing the no justice, no peace, I wasn't thinking of anything until I went home and then I was watching the clips from my phone and I was like, wait, this could be something dope. And luckily enough, I've got a studio full equipped. I just made a beat around it. I basically recorded the clip of the No Justice, No Peace from my phone to my computer. And from there, I've managed to find the BPM of that particular chanting. And then once I had the BPM, then I just made a beat around it. I put a nice piano, whatever. And after that, I just started writing. I wrote everything in my room. And the song was produced 3 hours before my flight to UK. So I did everything under 2 hours, everything, the beat, the lyrics, the mix,
Jeez.
everything. Yeah. And then I sent over to my publisher and to my PR, and then I got my flight gone. It was that fast. And they loved it. And before you knew it, the next day it started taking off. Hot Press gave me a nice write up about that. Imro as well, and Empower, and I think about 8 blogs. They gave me a nice story behind it. Big shout out to Spin 103, play my song, RTE, 2FM, Today FM, who else played a song as well? FM 104, they played it. I was like, oh, and that's a under 1 minute track. It's literally 55 seconds.
Yeah.
But it was well received, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to just make something just to really express how I felt about the whole situation, and that was it. Like, I didn't think about stream numbers. Just I didn't think about it. All I wanted just to send the message from my own perspective. Do you know what I mean? Because I know we are chanting, Black Lives Matter, but the goal really is all of us to come together. You know what I mean? Because there is one line that I said. We won't rest until all race can breathe. So that's what we want. We all need to breathe. It's not just Black people, it's everyone. We all have some mental slavery somehow, and so we all want to breathe. It could be financially, it could be anything. So the song wasn't just based on Black, it was based on all nation, all race.
Fantastic. And I suppose, are you encouraged, having seen what's gone on both at home domestically and abroad in the past number of weeks, is it obviously it's not enough, but are you encouraged at least that we're moving towards the right direction finally in terms of ending racial inequality? I
mean, that's the dream. That's the dream that Martin Luther King had, years ago. What we see now is just the beginning of something beautiful. Obviously, it will take time for certain people to visualize this world as an equal. As equal, right? Type of word. Bear in mind, there are generations of family who grew up with certain mindset that, oh, don't talk to this race, or don't be friends to that tribe because of XYZ reasons. So to change that mindset, that's another generation of educations and showing how to do it. And that's where we're now, and even myself, I had few white friends, if I should say, who were telling me, oh, I don't mess with these white friends with that because they are from different tribe or different, different clique. So So now, what's that? White or white crime? Do you know what I mean? So racism is not a skin color thing. It's all in here. So to change someone's mindset, it might take a couple of years. So but at least the fact that now the conversation is now on the table, that's already a good thing. Like now it's, for me, I feel more safe just for the fact that now you're aware of how we've been feeling for the past 400 years, maybe or more.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. But obviously, definitely, at some point, it's going to be a universal understanding about race, that there is no such thing as racism. It's a mindset. It's something that can be killed by education, not by violence. Education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. One point that I thought, it was that, like, going back to even the time of Dr. King and his message, what it really took for a lot of legislative change to actually happen was his assassination. Like, it was an act of violence against him, and obviously he was a Black man in the forefront. And then there was probably a lot of work done at the time. Obviously we didn't live through it, so we don't really know. But then I feel like the conversation kind of got lost, or it got muddled somehow, and now it's taken again another violent act against a Black person to get the conversation going. Do you think this is the last time we're going to need such a horrible event to happen for the conversation to finally, like, for the message to finally stick?
That's a great question you ask. So my answer to that is, why do we have to go through something tragic in order to bring a conversation? Why can't we just sit back and say, okay, guys, here's the problem. Let's find a way to fix this together. I mean, like, look at the protests that we had on the 1st of June. It wasn't just black folks. Folks, they were there. Why?
Yeah.
Because now we start to understand that, okay, this is not about black, this is about us. Because like, I've got some white friends who got some black girlfriends. I got some black girlfriends who got some white boyfriends. So what the fuck? So it's no longer black thing anymore. It's about our life. So for us to really get shit done, we need to get black, white, Chinese, Latino together. Let's talk about this and understand why we keep on falling for this same trap. Why do we have to kill one race for us to come together and talk about it? That makes zero sense. So from my opinion, if you ask me, I think that now that we more aware, now that every celebrity is now got involved, you know, that LeBron James got involved and Kevin Hart and many big names got involved. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on doing this. Let's build companies or a camp that could educate people that want to be educated. Because sometimes we are doing things out of fear or lack of knowledge. You know, like the same way when I used to be a kid, someone once told me, "Oh, Chris, don't play with cats. They're very dangerous anymore. They can hurt you." I was 4 or 5 years old, and now for the rest of my time, if I see a cat, I go, "Oh, the cat." Right? No, seriously,
Yeah.
like, no joke, right?
Yeah.
One day, I met someone who was a cat lover. She had about 4 cats in my house. So he goes, "No, come on. I mean, hold it." They go, "No, I cannot. Just hold it." So I took my cat in my hands, and then I was patting the cat. And the cat was nice. I'm like, you know what I mean? Same thing with us. I mean, like, I once was told that white people don't like black people, regardless. So imagine someone telling me that thing in my head, white people don't like black people. So eventually, if I see a white guy, like, I mean, like, no matter how well we're talking, but then subconsciously, I'm like, okay, he doesn't like me anyway. Why am I saying that? Because someone told me. So now we need to come to a point where we educate ourselves why things happen the way it happened, and how can we change it, and why certain people behave a certain way. It's not based on what they've learned, but what they've been told by someone else who had some personal experience. So we need to go to the bottom of it and educate, so that we can, you know what I mean, like, have a better approach next time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think
yeah, Chris. What I think what you said about education and, you know, educating people is probably the most important thing, because, you know, we look back at Ireland maybe 50 years ago, it was a completely different country in terms of multiculturalism and how progressive it was. Now, today, Ireland is, you can get abortions in Ireland, you can same-sex marriage, and now we're a more liberal, progressive society. So in terms of educating people, you know, there is previous generations that are ingrained with even if it's subconscious kind of racial bias or things that they don't think is exactly racist, but they need to be educated on, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are people who have these prejudices and they need to be educated as well, and it needs to be called out. But in terms of for our generation and what you and yourselves and hopefully everyone around the world should be doing right now, it's just educating people and, you know, supporting people who are having injustice done against them.
Because, like I said, I don't, like, at this stage of my life, I stopped, like, I've killed this virus of assumption. I think that's also the problem. People want to assume that, oh, they should know. Oh, they should know. No, we don't know. We have no idea. Like, I had a friend calling me, say, "Yo, man, Chris, I know we've been friends for years, but man, I didn't know about this story. I didn't know about that. Like, I did my research. I didn't know that you guys." I said, "No, don't say we guys. I wasn't there, but anyway, carry on." So what you guys, because we black people, the same way Irish were also under slavery by UK, the British. So it's not just about the color. Like, for me, I think it's deeper than the skin color. It's about power, and we just have to be educated. That's about around it. You know what I mean? We can go all day and trying to find justice and trying to do the marching and everything. People, we always gonna die one way or the other. But at least let's have a meaningful death. I know it's a dark way to say it, but no one has the right to take someone else's life because of, their skin color, or you just don't want to see them around. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have no right. So I mean, like, putting your knee on someone's neck because you don't like them. Who gave you the power to do that? Like, show me in the book where it says, if I don't like you, I will kill you because I don't like you. So that's just a human common sense. Like, if I don't like Gavin, I'm gonna poison him because I'm jealous. Show me in the book where it says that kind of shit. So it's a simple manners, one, and education. Reason why we have different colors, different skin color, it's a part of the beauty, decoration, aesthetic. It gives us beauty. Like, if I marry a white girl, my kid's gonna have cats. It's beautiful. If you marry a black girl, your kid's gonna have cats. Beautiful. So let's have a bigger, meaning about doing things before you even start doing it. Do you know what I mean? Educate yourself. That's it. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel like, well, I mean, not me in particular, but like, I don't want to feel like, oh, you wonder if you end up, I don't know, like falling in love to some Asian girl, okay, a girl from, a Chinese lady. I mean, why would you feel uncomfortable? Because she's not like you. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you feel uncomfortable when your friends are around? All that idea, all that feeling, it gonna be taken away but how? By having a proper understanding that it's okay to do what feels right, but nobody has the freedom or the right to kill or end someone's life based on how you feel about them. Makes no sense.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the person I've seen put it the best is, I think her name's Dr. Jane Elliott. The clip is famous now. It's about a minute long, where she basically just destroys the whole racism argument. And she just says, she says, like, there's no race. There is one race, the human race, and nobody should ever be prejudged because of the amount of a pigment in your skin. Like, the color of your skin, it doesn't affect anything. And like Dr. King said before as well, it's about the content of your character. I mean, that's everything that matters. And once the majority of the world, like, you would like to say all the world, but once the majority of the world starts thinking in that frame of mind, then you will start to see real change. And thankfully now, unfortunately, because of the tragic events of George Floyd's death, thankfully now people are starting to have those conversations.
You say something that we should judge people based on their characters. That's it. Characters, everything. Like, yeah. If you guys approach me in a very funny way on the email, I'm gonna be like, guys, no thank you, right? It's not because you guys were white, I'm here, or because you guys were black. No, it's the approach, it's a character. The same way some people hate me, love me based on my character. I hope anyway that it's not based on my skin color. If that is, then I'll be really pissed, because like, I don't want to feel like you guys doing me a favor because I'm black or because you're white. You need me, I need you, type of shit. No, it's more like, okay, we like Chris Kabs' character, let's have him on the show. Okay, I like Gavin and Colm. Okay, I want to be on the show because you guys are sound. It should be that's it. I mean, that's the answer. Character. That's it.
Absolutely. That's probably one of the best conversations we've ever had on this podcast, I have to say, Chris. Absolutely. Sorry, what were you going to say, Gav?
Yeah, just in terms of bringing it back around to music again and just education, one of my favorite artists is Kendrick Lamar. His albums are always, they're educational, and, the music is great, and you can listen to it on so many levels. So as you, a music maker now, Chris, do you feel more inclined with this moment to make music that's educational?
Yes. Do you know what's funny? My album was finished already. And after one I did, No Justice, No Peace, I had to go back and revise some of my lyrics. I feel like, okay, cool. I was way too comfortable, and I made a whole album about girls and feelings and everything. It's great. Like, I'm not saying I'm okay with it. But now that I have this new eye-opening experience with human rights and race and this and that, I would love to throw more into my music because I want to make an impact. I mean, for those who didn't know, I had 12,046 followers on my Instagram, and then I got hacked 2 months ago. Okay, so I'm back to zero, and now I'm up to 800 something followers. So I dropped No Justice, No Peace, less than 1 minute, and that song has 405 likes and 1,000 something views on an Instagram that has less than 1,000 followers. The point I'm trying to say is that shows you what people are craving for. People want some real meaningful message than just to be praising, you know what I mean, things that it's not even that relevant really. You know what I'm saying? So making that song No Justice, No Peace, it really opened my eye. And back to education, that's what we should do more with our platforms. I'm saying, like I said, like I can praise myself all day. I got niggas, I got bitches, I got hoes. I can go all day and do that, but at the same time, what is your end goal? Just to make a profit out of your brother Doja's lyrics, or to really have a say or a message that will make people go, okay, thank you for your album, you changed my life. So that's kind of where I'm now, and I told my guys, look, give me a few more months. I need to go back and rewrite certain lyrics because my mind is more mature, based on my experience now with the whole situation with the race and everything. So yeah.
Fantastic. Fair play.
Yeah, so I mean, 2020 has already been a very busy year for you, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, you really, including just No Justice, No Peace, you've released 4 songs. You already worked on an album with Sean Silk as well, I saw. What does the rest of 2020 have in store for you?
So JYellowL's album is finished. He's done. He's dropping his first single on the 19th of June.
Right.
I've featured with this dope rapper, God Creative. We're dropping a song together on the 11th of July with the visual. What else I'm doing this year? I'm currently shooting my video in this house with the pool house outside, because there was no shows, so we had to find a way to keep making music. So the rest for this year, just dropping singles. And by the start of next year, I'm so hungry and turned up to be outside and perform, and that will be my next thing. And I might gonna drop my album before the end. My EP before the end of this year. So I'm not gonna have my EP ready. Why EP? Because I feel like my album, and I have more to say, and I wanna slowly introduce the journey through EP. So that's why I feel like I'll drop my actual real official EP, with the publishing involved and a big thing.
Yeah. And I think putting like EPs are like obviously a fantastic way to like showcase a small like bit of your work, but with an album, the more hours you put into it, I feel the more listeners are going to get out of it. I mean, I remember listening to Mango and Matman and their album Casual Work. That's been something that they've crafted and cultivated for, I think, over 5 years. So the more that you put into an album, the more like your listeners are going to get out. And I think it would be very important to put that extra hours in if you feel like you need it.
Exactly. So for me, album, it's something that I take to heart. So I don't want to just drop it because I've got the tools. It gotta be right. You need the right phone. You need the right, the right distribution. Everything has to just be, click. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. See, with an album, you can release an EP, and an EP is like a collection of songs, but an album is more like, you're probably trying to tell a story, trying to have some themes and conclusion, a middle and a beginning, of course. So,
even with the EP, it is possible to do that. For me, my EP that I would do, like it's not gonna be something quick and short. It's gonna be like a short film ish. Like I still want to give you guys something that you go, okay, that was something. It's not just a quick, demo tape or mixtape, because I don't like mixtape. I like to give you my 100, like even if it's just an EP, so that you will get something more than just a 4 songs or 5 songs. So, yeah.
Cool. Chris, when we talked to JYellowL, he mentioned the album, and he was very coy about it. He was saying that he was going to release the singles in a unique way, and he didn't give us a date. Do you have any info for us? Any exclusives?
JYellowL, he's my brother. I love him. He knows it. I love this guy. I just love him. I love his spirit. We really close. But when it comes to business and strategy, that's why LeBron James did the GOAT. Because no one knows what to do next. Just gonna find out. Slam dunk.
Yeah.
Access. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like works. You know what I mean? Like I might know his. I mean, I might be aware of what he will do next. But at the same time, I'm not aware of everything. But whatever he decides to do, I support him. I think that's the beauty of music business. You know, just wait for it. You know what I mean? Like, and then once it comes out. Well, first single is out. He announced it on 19th of June.
Yeah.
Make sure you pre-save it.
Next
Can't
Friday.
wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So, Chris, if we were to sit down and have this conversation, I'm not going to say years time because like a lot of this year is still going to be written off because of COVID. So if we were to sit down and have another conversation in maybe 2 years time, when you've had a full crack at the whip in terms of making music, playing shows, the whole lot, what would you like to say that you've achieved in that time?
I would say, I don't know if you guys are aware of my music production company called Timo Universal. So that's like my baby, you know. That's a company that now slowly turned into a record label, because I've done my research and I've now, you know, included a few guys involved now to make it bigger than just a music company for artists. Now it will slowly become a home, you know, because for me, I don't just want to rely on the finance or the fund or the salary from my royalties. You know, like I want to be able to create more opportunities for artists as well. And to do that, you need eventually have a label, something that you can provide more to the artist than just music. I'm saying. So during this COVID-19, what I've been doing is studying the game, learning more, and networking with the executive people who are already doing, you know, CEO type of movement, you know what I mean, and learning from them. So definitely from next year, besides doing shows and tours, whatever, the goal is to really, you know, show to the world that, you know, we can always do more, you know, and here is it. So I'm hoping by next year to have something bigger that will open doors not only for myself but for many other artists, globally speaking.
Fantastic. Sounds great. Chris, I think we're going to wrap it up, but thanks very much for the chat. We really enjoyed it, and best of luck in the future with the music, with the production, with the songwriting, and look, I'm sure we'll see you on stage live somewhere soon.
Yeah, man, pretty soon. Man. Thanks so much for having me, guys, man. It was nothing but pleasure and respect for you guys, man. Keep going, man. Don't to give up.
Just before we end, I want to say, like, Chris, like I was chatting to a couple of people, like I was chatting with Daffy from Tebi Rex. I was chatting to my friend Dylan, who's met you before, and they were saying what a great guy you are and how well you speak and everything. And I had those expectations coming in, but you blew it out of the water. And I can safely say, I don't say this all the time, but you were one of my favorite guests that we've ever had on, 100%.
Oh, man, listen, that means
absolutely.
Thank you, man. And look out for me. Like I said, I just got hacked, so I need followers back. Go follow my Instagram. Jeez.
Absolutely, we will do right now.
Much love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a million, Chris.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
This has been. Okay. See. Okay. This has been.
Zoom matters, Colm, but
yeah, you know. That was in conversation with Chris Kabs. Thanks a million for listening, and we'll see you next time.